Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan. Basically, today we are going to discuss about the second question. That is basically how air condition basically, which basically gives the cool to the place, to the room, to the hall, to the office. How that basically can solve the problem of the chartered accountant group basically. This was the second question basically, and the answer basically which we have already given in one of the videos basically. So basically, then also we will discuss this little bit. The chartered accountant basically this way I will explain in the form of stories basically. You can say. One of the chartered accountant basically was doing his study. He was basically studying 100, 10 times, 100 times. Basically, I will take one example. Basically, he is having one book. He is having one book. In that book, basically, there are 16 problems. And the solution of the 16 problems basically is one problem basically have around 300 steps basically. If you will do the fulfill the 300 steps that also perfectly, then only the basically problem is going to be correct, going to solve perfectly basically. So this was basically very tough task basically for the chartered accountant basically. Like this basically there are 16 problems basically. So basically the problem basically one basically one chartered accountant basically was giving the he was preparing for the exam. He discussed this problem with one of the IITs and person basically. So he basically told that yeah, this is actually the problem. So basically that person told that I have the solution. I will let you know after some days. Basically. Then basically he created one software. He dumped the each and every solution, each and every problems into the software. Then basically he converted this from this basically he problem discussed with the Microsoft people as well. And this project basically he is developing the Microsoft basically. So that was basically the Microsoft blood which is going to solve this problem basically. And the Microsoft brain is going to create this. So Microsoft so the each and every remember which is going to capture that the the chartered accountant person basically who is preparing for the chartered accountant, his brain is going to sorry his body is going to generate one Microsoft blood, and that basically going to generate Microsoft brain basically one small cells basically. From that cells basically he is going to remember the each and every uh, he is going to recall the basically each and every steps basically. So just see basically how the program was developed. Like this, basically, each and every questions was basically dumped, and the Microsoft basically was informed that this types of problem, basically solution, basically we are developing from this software. So the Microsoft directors and mm, the people who basically exactly know basically this type of problem basically can be solved, and we can basically have a good income basically because this air condition basically will be in good demand basically for the air condition people basically. Then basically the problem was solved, and then basically the air condition was also prepared, and the program was developed in .NET, and um, then basically you can say the air condition was prepared by that from the air condition was prepared basically by that IIT person basically. So he deployed the air condition, and basically he told that the chartered accountant person that you can purchase this company's AC, and the model number is this basically. Like this basically he purchased the AC, and then basically he was preparing for the that problems basically. There were 16 problems, and each problems have more than 100 steps basically. More than 200 steps we can take. So like this basically he was preparing the problems. One day he prepared the problem, second day he prepared the problem, and the solution was solution was also written in the book. That also he remembered. Like this, basically for few days, basically he solved the problem, and like this, basically his remember was connect. He basically remembered that problem basically, and each and every steps. For example, there are 200 steps. Like this, he remembered the 200 steps. That also in very fast format basically. So like this, basically person basically who was into chartered accountant, industry who basically is preparing for chartered account industry. He asked basically that IIT person. Then basically he told that your body basically is having one Microsoft blood cells, and that basically is connected with your one of the brain cells. Basically, you can say that basically has solved your problem. So basically, for this, basically you have to take few necessary human needs. Basically, you have to fulfill few human needs. Like for example, you have to eat this apple basically at least basically once a month. At least few apples once a month. You have to eat this chiku. You have to eat these grapes because this each and everything basically that I have created from the software. So you have to eat that, and because that is already in the malls basically, for the in the specific mall basically I have deployed it, so you can purchase that and you can have that foods basically, so that basically the blood cells keeps on active mode, and then basically my brain cells also keeps on active mode basically. So it basically, if there is any changes done by me basically in the software basically, then basically it will be automatically going to apply to that, because according to the energy of the software energy basically, I always, the energy companies basically always refresh the data, and according to that basically human needs are always refreshed, and the air conditions are also refreshed every time basically. So like this basically the problem was solved from the IIT person, and the problem was also solved by the chartered accountant person also told that yeah, my problem is solved, and the IIT person told that IIT person told that person, are you happy now? Then basically the chartered accountant person told, yeah, I am very happy. Like this the problem was solved, and like this basically IIT person basically told that yeah, my I solved my one of the friends problem, that is basically chartered accountant problem. Like this basically he basically jumped into software industry, and the Microsoft also encouraged him, and basically given some to a good amount and the award also, because he has solved the one problem of the chartered accountant industry basically. So like this basically the Microsoft also told that yeah, basically we have also solved this problem basically. Like this basically this is about the second question, that is basically how chartered air condition basically you can say can solve the chartered accountants problem basically. Like this basically we are here basically we are stopping it, and in basically 88th part basically we are going to discuss about the third problem and the third questions and the third answer basically.